The Genius documentary on Kanye West that is currently airing on Netflix. It's the most inspirational documentary I've ever seen. And it's only in part one. I think it's of a 3 or 4 part series. It's an hour and a half. It looks like every episode is going to be an hour and a half. And it's amazing. It tells the triumphant story of Kanye West breaking into the music industry as a rapper. Now, we know Kanye was a very famous, very highly requested producer way before he was a rapper. And I'm going to talk to you about the triumphant story, and it's an incredible story for any black man, and you can take away a boatload of inspiration from episode one. And we haven't even scratched the surface of what he ultimately accomplished. So let's take a look at it. Once again, my name is JeffLightsYJr. here with the Black Boss channel and Victory Formation. Thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe, and the notification bell because we upload every single day. Now, Genius is what the documentary is titled. Kanye West, the story of Kanye West. And if you know anything about Kanye, obviously he's a controversial figure. Obviously, you can say the things with the Kardashians and Donald Trump and all this stuff that he's done within the last 5 years or whatever, controversial, whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can love him, hate him, whatever. He has stans, like crazy big fans, and he has people on the complete opposite of the spectrum that hate his guts. But however you feel about Kanye, it doesn't matter. If you're a black man specifically, you will take away a ton of inspiration and really feel like you ain't doing jack-ish after watching just episode one of the Kanye West Genius documentary. So in the Kanye documentary, like I said, it follows his journey from being a producer to trying to be an artist, a rapper, trying to actually break into the industry as a rapper, because he was the hot ticket. So, and it's all recorded by his homie Cootie, who comes from Chicago, who dropped everything. This is the power of inspiration. This is the power of, seeing something great probably before the person even sees it. Kanye knew he was great. Kanye knew he could rap. But Cootie, who was his friend, he was a comedian, was doing well in Chicago, had met Kanye, I think he said in 1997 or 1998, and was like, yo, this dude is going to be a star. This dude is doing something that nobody else is doing. This dude is on a whole different wavelength than everybody else. And Cootie saw that and was like, yo, we need to document this. We need to record what is taking place, because this is something we're going to be able to look back on and say, wow, this really happened. This is where we started, and this is where we ended up. So he dropped everything. Kanye moved from Chicago to Newark, New Jersey to be close to New York because he wanted to get a record deal from Rockefeller, from Rawkus Records, from Epic, from anybody that would give him a record deal he was looking for. And Cootie left Chicago, said, and followed Kanye out to Newark, out to New York, to record this process of him trying to get a record deal. Now, this in itself, Kanye already believed in himself, but having a friend back from his hometown drop everything he was doing, one, that was kind of bold, and two, it gives you that extra motivation. Yo, Cootie just moved across the country because he believes in me. So now I got to get this. I was going to get this done no matter what, because I moved across the country to get this done. But now I got someone else who also believes in me just as much as I believe in myself. That is powerful. And so when we're following in episode one, it talks about how he was a hot producer. He was selling beats. He was telling how he was selling beats for like $500 a pop. And people was doing their thing, whatever. He had sold some beats to Talib Kweli, sold some beats to Mos Def. But then he got to Rockefeller, and he did a beat for Jay-Z and Scarface, and that kind of took his name to a next level. And then the Blueprint came out, and Kanye did half the tracks on the Blueprint, most of the Blueprint, but did specifically the H to the Izzo, which was out of the stratosphere. This song that just went double, triple platinum. The Blueprint went double, triple platinum, and Kanye went from selling beats for $500 to like 40, 50 grand. You know what I'm saying? It was making big money. It was making huge money, but none of that mattered to him. None of that mattered to him, because he didn't care about selling beats to Jay-Z or selling beats to Mos Def or selling beats to Beanie Siegel or Memphis Bleak or all these dudes that were on Rockefeller or all these dudes that were making platinum records. He didn't care about all that stuff. He was like, yo, Rockefeller, I'm selling y'all all these beats. I'm getting y'all dudes platinum records. Take a chance on me. Sign me as an artist. Have me, you know what I'm saying? Have me like I'm just as good as these dudes. Hell, I'm better. You know, he was pitching himself. And Jay-Z was like, oh, you know what I'm saying? That's cool. But what's some next beats like? You know, everybody was like, that's cool. Most Def and Talib Kweli was signed to a record company called Rawkus Records. And their A&R really liked Kanye and was like, yo, I want to sign you, Kanye. Went up to the dudes at Rawkus, the presidents, the bosses. And they was like, nah, we don't want no backpack producer. But he could throw us some of them beats, though. And then Kanye blitzed Rockefeller himself. He went up there and spit his rap. Spit All Falls Down, a classic track. Spit the raw, unmastered, you know what I'm saying? Spit it in front of marketing people. Spit it in front of people that worked at Rockefeller. And they kind of just like, oh, okay. One girl kind of laughed. They thought the rhymes were kind of clean, though. She was like, yo, what did he say? She couldn't afford a car, so she named her daughter Alexis. Damn, man, it's kind of tight. That was kind of lit. But they still, you know, even they weren't impressed. And they were kind of impressed, but they was like, he's still Ye. And then Ye got a feature. You know, he works, and that's where the inspiration comes from. Because even after all those no's, after all those laughs, after all those, you know, people turning their head, turning them down, saying no, get away, whatever, F off or whatever, he still kept going. So MTV was interviewing Kanye because he had H to the Izzo, because he did the Blueprint. They were interviewing, yo, you the producer that made the Jay-Z beats, the soulful beats, the ones that, you know what I'm saying, put Jay-Z, like, took him to another stratosphere. And he was like, yeah, but I rap too. He never not told people that he rapped. Yo, I rap too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to get featured on one of y'all programs. You hear it first, where you profile up and coming rappers. Well, y'all know me as a producer, but I rap too. So he, you know, gets to talking to people, and they pass this on to people and pass it on to people, and boom, it gets featured on You Hear It First. And that's one of his famous interviews where he's rocking the red hoodie, you know what I'm saying, and was telling people about his stuff. And he played Jesus Walk, and he played this, and he played that. And I think Rockefeller, not all of them, but Dame. And it's funny because I know this will come, and Kanye's spoken about this. All of this stuff is, I mean, this stuff happened 20 years ago. He talked about how, you know, Dame probably just signed me because he didn't want my beats to go to other people. And I kept hounding him, because you see it in the documentary. Cootie filmed everything. He hounds him. He goes up there. He blitzes him. He does this. He does that. And Dame finally decides, not without Jay-Z, without, you know, the cosign, all these other people, Dame finally decides to sign Kanye as an artist. And quite frankly, it's one of the best investments he ever made. That was it was the best artist Rockefeller ever signed outside of Jay-Z himself. But it was one of the best investments he ever made. But it only took place because Kanye never gave up on himself. That's why this documentary is one of the most inspirational, probably the most inspirational I've ever seen. And for Black men, it tells you, yo, if you have a dream, you know, my mom, and I think this comes from the Bible, but my mom says this all the time: faith without works is dead. Kanye had faith in himself, but he worked for it. He worked to get where he's at. He worked to build this empire. He worked to just get his album. He had his album done, or a lot of the tracks done. They weren't mastered or whatever, but a lot of the tracks, concepts of Jesus Walk, concepts of College Dropout, all this stuff, Family Business. He had all the rhymes. He had all the beats. He had everything pretty much done. He was delivering an album to the company. He just needed to get signed. He just needed to, you know, somebody take a chance on him. But the Family Business, All Falls Down, Jesus Walk, those songs were already done. It played it before he ever got a deal. He's playing them for Scarface, playing them for his homies, playing them for Rockefeller. It was done. 2 words, done. These songs were done. He knew what his singles were going to be. He knew the concept that he was going with. He knew all of that stuff. But he continued, even after all the no's, all it takes is one yes. And he heard his yes, and now he's a billionaire. Now he's a billionaire. Now he's changing the game and saying his album's not coming out on, his album's only coming out through his own business. Now he's got the Yeezy brand. He's one of the biggest people in fashion. He's one of the biggest music people ever. He's got over 20 Grammys. He sold millions of records. All because he believed in himself. All because he betted on himself. He started his own brand. He started his own business, essentially. Yeezy, Kanye West. Dog. Yeah, I mean, it's so powerful, man. It's so powerful because you hear all the no's he's told. You hear him say, I have a whole bunch of money. When he signed his deal, when Dame called him and finally said they're going to sign him, they celebrated by going to freaking Burger King or McDonald's or something. I mean, this dude wasn't filthy rich. This dude wasn't nothing. Like his apartment was sparse, barely had any furniture in it. Had a pool table and some couches and like nothing fancy. Not like these $1 million mansions he lives in now. But all like the lifestyle he lives now was all laid by this foundation that he never gave up. The only documentary that I could say that was just as inspirational as that was the Hitsville, USA with Berry Gordy and Berry Gordy, the creating of Motown. Now, the only difference between Berry Gordy and his creating of Motown and why I think Kanye's the genius, at least just through part one, is better and more inspirational is because Berry Gordy actually got a loan from his parents to start Motown. If you've never seen Hitsville, USA, a Showtime documentary on the making of Motown, go watch it. It's amazing. But Berry Gordy actually got a loan from his parents because his parents are smart. His parents were business owners out in Detroit, and they gave him a loan to start his record company because Berry worked at Ford, and he's like, man, to hell with Ford. I like music. He wrote a song for Jackie Wilson. He did some songs. Him and Smokey did some songs, and they hit the charts. But the record companies at the time pay you if they wanted to. And so Smokey was like, yo, if you're only getting $2, $3 and your song's on the charts, you might as well start your own thing. Gets a loan from his parents, starts Motown. The rest is history. The rest is history. Kanye didn't get a loan. Kanye was making beats and decided and was good. You know, he says it on the song, 5 beats a day for 3 summers. I deserve to do these numbers. Like Kanye to think about himself. He's going to tell you about himself, how great he is. And it was like, yo, okay, I need a bigger footprint. So I'm going to leave my home, Chicago. He already dropped out of college. Leave all of that. Head out to New York and make it happen. With nothing. Nothing. Like whatever he had, nothing. Just do it. And now he's a freaking billionaire. Now he's a freaking billionaire. Yo, that stuff is amazing, man. Genius. Streaming on Netflix right now. Only part 1, part 2 is coming out soon. Yo, it is the most inspirational documentary, and it's only part 1, only an hour and a half. I'm telling you, if you don't take anything else away from that, just continue your grind. Whatever you're doing, whatever makes you happy, whatever you do, but be able to monetize your grind. Be able to monetize what you do. Be able to monetize your talents. Get a talent, acquire knowledge, or whatever you're good at. Acquire knowledge of a certain thing. Never give up on it. And learn how to monetize that. Start your business that way. That's what Kanye did. He had this extreme talent, extreme ear, is genius for music. He took his talents for music as a producer, but knew the whole time he could rhyme, knew the whole time he wanted to rhyme. Took that, kept his best beats for himself, spit over his best beats with his talent, his lyrical ability, and his way to mix sounds and words and all that stuff, and was able to monetize it. And now he's one of the greatest musicians to ever walk the planet. Period. And nobody even wanted to sign him. Nobody even wanted to sign him. Hell, they even told him, the dude from Rockets Records, he was like, yo, you're trying to get signed to Rockefeller. You're not really a Rockefeller dude. Rockefeller's about Bentleys and women and popping Cristal and champagne and stuff. And you a fashion dude with backpacks and flipped up collars, and obviously the shutter shades and all that stuff came later. But it's like, yeah, you a dude that's like, walking around with backpacks and hoodies, and they with throwback jerseys and Bentleys. Like, it's not really your style. And Kanye was like, yo, I'm street like them, but I'm also fashionable like you guys. I'm like the perfect blend of Rockets and conscious like you guys. I'm like the perfect blend of Rockets and Rockefeller. But I'm me. I'm Ye. I'm Kanye. Kanye West at the time that eventually became Kanye, that eventually became Ye. Man, I could talk about this all day. But go and check out Genius. Jeenyus. Genius. That way, spelled that way. on Netflix, the Kanye West documentary. I promise you won't regret it. Once again, my name is JeffLightsYjr at the Black Boss channel. Thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe.